Hi everyone, this is Chris with the Journey. We're going to do a little different thing here today. This is video that I took actually from last June. Here we are in October. But I'm kind of laid up. I hurt my back, so I'm home. So I'm going to be able to do more videos, which is a good thing, but I can't ride, but I can work on the website more and do more reviews. But anyway, this is downtown Decatur, Illinois. This is a city that I was born in, grew up in. I've lived here my entire life. You see a statue there of Abraham Lincoln. This is the site of his first political speech. Down there is Merchant Street, and my favorite shop down there is Dell's Popcorn Shop. It's the reason why I had to ride bikes a lot, because I gain weight every time I visit that place. But today we're going to be talking about the 500 series from Ride1Up, and I've had this bike all summer. And here this is just a little, well, not a little stop, but this is a stop on my way from downtown back to the bike path. And there is a nice trail there that goes along Main Street, really nice. This is Millikan Homestead. This is the home of the founders of Millikan University, which is just right down the road. And this is just a fascinating building. I took a tour of it back in 2019, in the fall of 2019, so 2 years ago. And I really loved that tour. And I remember they told a story about this. This had been turned into a makeshift hospital during the last pandemic back in 1918, I think the Spanish flu. And I remember thinking, how did people live? How did they manage during a pandemic? You know, what would that even be like? And then a couple months later, I found out. So I will always remember this place because of that. And also it's just a beautiful place. It has really good vibes to it. It's not a spooky place. It's very beautiful inside. And then over here, it's surrounded by houses that were designed by Frank Lloyd Wright's firm. He didn't design these houses himself, but his assistants did. And they are designed in that prairie style. So really kind of interesting history there. And sometimes they have tours of those as well, so you can walk through those houses and just really see just the craftsmanship there. Pointing out here this magnolia tree and the pine tree there. I'm a tree hugger, so of course I got to notice all the trees. But we're going to get back here to the 500 series. I'm going to talk to you about it. In the 500 series is Ride1Up's most popular bike. This is one they sell the most of, and for good reason. It's priced very reasonably for what you're getting. This is a Class 3 e-bike, 500-watt rear hub motor, 750-watt peak, speeds of up to about 28 miles per hour using pedal assist, about 20 using the throttle. Actually, I can get about 22, 23 miles per hour using the throttle. The range on this is about 35 miles or so. It kind of depends how you ride it. But this bike has seen a lot of upgrades over the last year. Probably the most notable one is the battery. It's now 48 volt, 14 amp hour, up from 10.4 amp hours, so that you can get a lot more range out of it. You don't have to charge it as often. Another change are the tires. It now has reflective sidewalls. I really like that for safety, and I think it just kind of adds to the look of the bike. It's a very classy looking bike. Another change is it now has a new light from Bushell. This is the same light that Ride1Up uses on their new mid-drive that's going to be shipping in January, the Prodigy. That's a bike I definitely want to check out. But this is a good light. I think good visibility during the daytimes for drivers to see you, and it lights up the road pretty good at nighttime as well. Another change, really important one, is the gearing. It is now an 8-speed cassette up from a 7-speed freewheel. So that's going to give you a wider range, more gear ratio, better gear ratio. And if you really enjoy pedaling like I do, you're going to appreciate that. We have a Shimano Acera derailleur there. Made it up here with a rapid fire shifter from Shimano. And I know the brake levers here, these are 5-star. I imagine they're probably originally supposed to be Tektro, but there's just so many issues with manufacturing right now, trying to get parts in a timely manner. So I'm assuming that was probably swapped out because of that. You can wait, months and months just for a seat or pedals or something. So sometimes companies do have to make changes. But it still has the Tektro Aries brakes back here, mechanical brakes, 160 millimeters. And here we got the bottle cage mount I'm showing here. It's really short. I did find a bottle to fit in there, but it's probably more practical for a bike lock. And you can get this with or without the fenders in the rear rack, but I would go ahead and spend the money and get those because you can't buy them after the fact. They aren't sold as accessories. You can use third-party ones if you want to. It is, you can do that, but I would go ahead and just spend that extra money. The kickstand here on the chainstay is away from the pedals, so you don't have that dreaded pedal lock. And here I'm just showing the where you charge the battery if you're charging it on the bike here. Down low, I'd like to see a little bit higher, but that's okay. But this is a re-engined battery, which I really like because that means it's not proprietary. You're going to be able to find replacements down the road pretty easily. And here I was just pointing out the stem on it. that I had swapped out. I put an adjustable stem on it just to kind of shorten up the reach, again, because I'm a shorter rider, so that really helped out a lot. And I also could kind of angle it, get the handlebars up a little bit taller so I don't have to be hunched over so much. It's easier on my back and my wrist. So anyway, let's get back to riding here. Stop here. This is a real beautiful part of the trail here. I'm on the regular trail now, out of the city. Well, I'm still in the city, but we're in a park. And yeah, I'm really loving this bike. There's a couple things I wanted to point out now that I've ridden, oh, how many miles have I ridden on it now? 30, almost 36 miles. And I would say the brakes on the mechanical brakes, I'm fine with those. Those are fine. But I do wish it had larger rotors. It's got 160 millimeters, and I think it would do a lot better if it had 180 millimeters like the KBO Breeze that I've reviewed and other bikes. Yeah, I would like to see those increased. But the other improvements that they made on this bike are really smart ones. The higher capacity battery. I do love the tires on here, but the major thing is just the gear ratio. Just adding an 8-speed instead of a 7-speed makes a big difference. And this is something a lot of people don't look at when they're looking at an electric bike. They look at the motor and the battery, which you should, but you really want to look at the gear ratio too. And I wanted to mention, I kind of failed to mention earlier, that this is a bike that you can customize a lot. You can really dial this in, because through the display you can go in through here and customize not only how many pedal assist levels you want to have. I think you can have 3, 5, 7, or 9, I believe. Maybe 5, 7, or 9. But in each one of those levels you can specify how much power you want from the motor at each one of those levels. So you can really dial this in to your preferred riding style, what your cadence is, how much speed you want at each level. And that is just a huge plus, and one of the reasons why you'd want to choose this bike over another one that doesn't have that. Because this you can just, again, you can just dial it into how you prefer to ride. If you want a bike that you get exercise on, you can kind of dial back the power on it, which is important. Or it can be a very fast bike if you're going to just use it as a commuter. So big, big plus there. I'm just going to take some time here just to talk about my experience with the 500 series. Now, I've had it for several months now, and originally I recorded this back in June, and this is October now. But I just want to talk about the sizing of the bike. Even though I'm short, 5'1", I'm able to ride this pretty well. I mean, the standard height on it is only 28.5 inches, so that's not too bad. This is kind of a smaller to a medium-sized frame. It's not a really large frame. If you're a taller person, you might want to look at the 700 series. It's got a little bit larger frame to it. But yeah, this is a bike that's very manageable if you're a shorter rider. I do miss the convenience of a step-through, though. I really love step-through frames. Something else about this bike is just it is really just a very good pedaling bike, and it's a very good riding bike. It's got a lot of comfort to it, and I've tried a lot of other electric bikes with a similar frame style. But this is just, for some reason, it doesn't transfer the bumps to me as nearly as much as those other frames do. It's just very comfortable. I don't feel the harsh bumps through it. And I just kind of want to stress that. It is a comfortable bike, even though it is a hardtail bike. But yeah, I've been really impressed with this bike. Much more so than I thought. I thought it would be kind of like a downgrade from the 700 series, but it really isn't. The only change that I would make on it would be to put hydraulic brakes on it. I'm a fan of those, and I do think that the brakes on this are just a little bit, they are underpowered. I would like to see at least 180 millimeter rotors on it, or better yet, hydraulic brakes, because this is a class 3 e-bike, capable up to close to 30 miles per hour. So this is a fast bike. And I just want to kind of take this time, since I'm kind of doing a little voiceover here, just why I got into reviewing electric bikes, why they become so important to me. And really the biggest reason is they've opened up my world, opened up the world to me again. Due to health reasons, I wasn't able to ride bikes anymore, at least not long distances. So having an electric bike, I can get out and see places and visit places that I otherwise wouldn't be able to get to. Kind of these more remote areas, away from the road, just enjoying nature and the fresh air, and just seeing friendly people waving at you. It's just such a great experience. And any electric bike can do that for you. It doesn't have to be this particular bike, but I see that over and over again in people's comments on different fan pages, where it's Ride1Up or Rad Power Bikes or Vinton or whoever. People just, they love their electric bikes because they've just improved their lives. They really do, and it might seem kind of silly, but once you get an electric bike, you're going to know what I'm talking about. But anyway, the 500 series here, good bike. Definitely can recommend it. My only complaints are just, again, the brakes. I'd like to see better brakes, but everything else about this, for the price, you're getting a really good deal, and I've been very happy with the company. I've communicated with the owners. They've been very responsive with me and just good guys. So get out there and go riding.